Hey, what's up, everybody? Oh man. Okay, so as you can all see, it is like 2:37 in the morning, right? But I did promise to do this video for quite a few places, so this is actually my setup. All right. Now you're gonna notice that I got two things going on here. The majority of my setup is Major League Console 1, and the other part is Nebula. Nebula. I don't know if I said that right. Like I said, it's early in the morning. So, let's take a look here. Actually, you know what? Let me fix up this vocal real quick. All right. There we go. Much better, right? And now you actually know what my recording chain is. Ooh. Okay, so where were we? Oh yeah. Okay, so this is my mix setup. All right, so we're gonna go through this. All right, start with number one, the width plugin. I'm using the good old H3000 factory, the dual H910s. So now you know. For my room, I'm using a Nebula reverb. It's actually a stock reverb. Sounds great. Dry all the way down. It's the Quadraverb small room. And let's see, for the plate, now I have two plates and two hall setups because I like to mix and match those. So I'm using a Lexicon plate. It is just like a starter plate. Excuse me. It's a starter plate that I like to just, get things running with. If I don't like it, I'll change it up. My second plate is the LX480. Now this is the Chris Lord Algae A plate setting, and I do love this setting, so I just kept it the way it is. The pre-delay on here is very important. Next we have the Lexicon Hall, and that's doing this little thing right there. Same thing with the the plate. I'll change it if I have to. And of course the LX480 on here, large hall plus large stage, and of course the pre-delay on here, it all depends on what I'm going for. And of course I have this Lexicon chamber reverb, and I change that as need as well. Then we get into these great old looking delay sections over here. So I have Echo Boy as my main go-to delay, and of course this one's doing the 8th note delay. Now as you see, I got going on here, I have console 1 on every track here, but this I like to do these cool little delays in the background sometimes. So I have repitch doing that real deep kind of voice delay thing going on, and that's feeding into Echo Boy, which of course at that point I'm turning the saturation knob, going back and forth, giving a little extra here and there. I'm doing the same thing on quarter notes. And then of course I have the good old slap delay, which is also a what is it the CLA slap delay. And then of course I have some dotted 8 notes for guitars. Let's see what else we got going on here. I got 2 slap delays, so we're gonna have to fix that. So delete. There we go. All right, got this ping pong delay, and then we get into the good old section right here. Now this is my summing section, well, the beginning of my summing section. So any kicks that I have that I import, they're all going through this whole kick bus right here. Same thing with the snares, the hats, the percussion, drums, bass, guitar, piano, synth, music, lead vocal, and backing vocal. So let's get started. We got the kick. Let's see, I'm using the imager on that to mono that out. And going into this Nebula DBX 160. And the snare, console 1 into another 160. Now this is where it starts getting all cool for my summing. I have this 88 RS from Alex B. It's my line in for my hats and my cymbals. Percussion, it's the SSL 9000. And I'm actually just using the bus version of that. I like the width on that, so that's cool. The drums, again, the SSL 4000, and that's actually getting the drum bus section, so that's cool. Now for the bass, I'm actually monoing out everything below 100 and then keeping everything above 100 regular, so just in case I get like a stereo bass, it still, does its job. And I'm running that into the TLA Sum. Obviously, it's the Nebula version 100A. And then for guitar, I'm doing the CLA guitar setup. So left side and right side. All right, next is piano. I got that going to an SSL 9000 line in. Synthesizers and API bus synth line in. Let's see, now for the synthesizers, I have that, let me see, where's it at? Music, and of course the synth, same thing, API. Now for my lead vocal and background vocals, I got this really cool situation. So for the lead vocal, I have the SSL 9000 line in, which then leads into Blue Stripe 1176 line in. And then for the background vocals, I have the 88 RS, and that's going into the Black Stripe, the Blackface 1176 line in. Now all of those are set up more or less for color and control, you know what I mean? So no matter what I import, this is my mixing template. Now for my parallel buses, those stay off. They also have console 1, and I have a virtual mix rack set up. So this is my virtual mix rack setup. And it's the same thing on the vocal parallel. That way I can just pick a compressor whenever I want and have them all turned off and turn them on as I want. Now each of these also have a line input. So for the drums, I'm using the the 500 series 512 line in. Got a little distortion going on, give the drums a little more oomph. And for vocals, I've got the modern 2000 version of the 1176 line amp. So getting down to the nitty gritty of the busing section, all my drums, all the bass, all music, which then go into the instruments, and then of course all the vocals. So I know you're probably looking at this like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff going on. All right, so for the drums, we got this SSL 9000 drum bus. And for the bass, we have an SSL 9000 bass guitar bus. And for the music, now I have this SSL 9000 clean bus going into a FabFilter Pro Q2, rolling off 100 on the music side, because I like to keep my low end and the music part a little bit separate. If I want some low end on some certain things, I'll just go back and boost it myself. But for the most part, I like pretty clean. Now, this is where the fun starts. So on the screen, I actually have the vocal bus going into my instrument bus, right? And basically that is doing a side chain, because besides this SSL bus line amp, I've also got Track Spacer on here. And Track Spacer just makes some room for my vocals if the vocals seem kind of buried and I want them more out front. So now vocal wise, I'm doing the same thing, clean bus, SSL 9000, because that's my main console I'm running. That's also the console that I'm running with Console 1. Going into the White 2 mastering equalizer, which is a passive Pultec. Going then into my secret way of widening vocals in a mix, Dr. MS. Now, if you really, I'm not going to tell you how I do it, but if you really look, you'll see which one of these is on and how the widening happens if you have Dr. MS. And going into my style level, which on the all vocal bus sounds great. Just to let people know, like, you can get away with crazy amounts of compression and it still sounds great, right? Okay, then of course I have my VCA groups. Also have Console 1 just because I can control the faders and everything else from them. And last but not least, my mixed bus setup that leads into the master setup. So what we have over here, we're looking at Console 1, then going into the SSL 9000 modern bus setup, which then leads into the Manley Verumu from Nebula, of course, which sounds great, let me tell y'all. And of course, going into Lift. The Studio DMI Lift plugin is phenomenal. The clipper section is, it's everything. And that's really it. That is my whole mix template and setup. So hope y'all enjoyed that, and I will talk to you all soon. If you got any questions, just hit me up. Trust me, I'm answering everything about this. So y'all have a good night. This is Will, and I'm out. Peace.